Does the size of the man matter to make a woman pregnant? I mean the size of the man's pain. And is it very possible for someone to conceive after a miscarriage? All this in this very particular video of Ask Dr. Uthman, you shouldn't miss.
Ask Dr. Uthman on Sawa Wall.
Hello my very good viewers, welcome to Ask Dr. Uthman YouTube channel, a channel where you learn medicine at the comfort of your living room. I told you if you'd like to get in touch with me to have a private chat, a private consultation, go to my website and book an appointment, and that is www.druthman.com. Book an appointment, we shall have a private chat. And if it's your very first time to watch this channel, please don't forget to subscribe and also press the notification button in order to be notified of any video we upload. Today we have very interesting questions, and let's start with this lady from South Africa.
Good day, doctor. My name is Cleopatra and I'm from South Africa. So I have a question. Okay. I once had an illegal abortion once, and there was a time I tried to have a baby after that abortion. So I tried for a baby, then I had an early miscarriage. So I wanted to know what would be the cause of that. And right now I am trying to have a baby after that miscarriage, but nothing is happening. Like, I always receive blood maybe after 5 to 6 weeks. I don't know what's going on. So I thought maybe you'd have answers for me, because I really need help. I need a baby as soon as possible. Thank you.
It's a very saddening question from Petra, and I guess there are several women out there suffering or having the same problem. It's very possible, my friend Petra and other women out there, it's very, very possible for someone to conceive after a miscarriage. Very possible. However, there are those that fail to conceive because of several conditions I am going to state here. Actually, there is a research which was done by Professor Carol J. Haig. He said that 1 in 3 pregnancies after an abortion also result into spontaneous abortions or spontaneous miscarriages. What did he mean? He meant that if a woman had a miscarriage, if 3 women had miscarriages, and these women conceived again, at least one of them will have another miscarriage, which will be spontaneous. What we mean is that these 3 women had miscarriages before, whether they started the miscarriages on their own or the miscarriage happened on its own, what we mean spontaneous miscarriage. But now, if these women conceive again, and this time they really want their babies, one of them will have a spontaneous miscarriage. This was a research which was done by this professor. And now, which means our friend Petra is falling under this category, whereby she at first had an illegal abortion, and then when she conceived again, she had a spontaneous miscarriage or a spontaneous abortion. This time it happened on its own. And these are things which can happen to all women. However, some others, like we've said, 1 in 3, the other 2 can still conceive and grow their children to birth or to delivery. Now, there are some of those that even fail to conceive completely. This one had a miscarriage, but others, you have a miscarriage and then you completely fail to have another pregnancy. Again, what happens? What goes wrong? Number 1, blocked tubes. Blocked tubes. You remember in my topic about blocked tubes, the one I talked about in one of my previous videos, we said that if a woman has blocked tubes, because we said this is the uterus, you understand, all of you who usually follow me understand that this is a uterus, this is the cervix, these are the fallopian tubes, and these are the ovaries. Then inside are the eggs. So now, when a man meets a woman, the man will release his substances, you understand? And those substances will, of course, will pass through the cervix, enter the uterus, and then will pass through the fallopian tube, and then will meet an egg which has already moved somewhere at the region of the ampulla. I'm talking about fertilization. So when this man's fluid meets the egg, they will form a zygote. And this zygote will stay here for only 8 days, and then it will be moved back into the womb. And that's how fertilization takes place and how pregnancy starts growing until birth. Now, what happens when someone has blocked tubes? Tubes are blocked from here. It means these sperms are not able to reach the egg. And if it is blocked from here, even the egg will not be able to reach the ampulla, and therefore this woman will not be able to conceive. So most women after a miscarriage will develop blocked tubes. What happens is that when the miscarriage, when it is happening, when the pregnancy is getting out, at times there is splashing, or there is some blood can splash into the fallopian tubes. And once it splashes into the fallopian tubes, it clots from there. It clots and then make clots. Once clots are made, they can block the fallopian tube. Secondly, there are women after a miscarriage who will get adhesions, and these adhesions will grow into the fallopian tube. And once the adhesions grow into the fallopian tubes, they will definitely get blocked tubes. And once the tubes are blocked, infertility, unless it is worked on. And you remember when I was discussing about opening blocked tubes, I talked about the treatment for this. Now, at times, these women will get ectopic pregnancies, the tubal pregnancies. What I mean by ectopic pregnancy is when someone conceives, but the baby, instead of growing into the uterus, the baby grows outside the uterus. It can be the fallopian tubes, the ovaries, or any other place in the abdominal cavity. Now, what causes that is that because you have adhesions, you have adhesions. Remember, after fertilization, this zygote has to be, it swims, it has to be propelled back into the uterus. Now, what happens when the edges are rugged, or when the edges are rough? It means this zygote will not be able to move back into the uterus. Fertilization will occur, but the baby will not move back, will not move into the uterus. And therefore, the baby will grow from the tubes. And now it is not possible for a baby to grow to maturity in the tubes. By 8 weeks, by 8 weeks, 12 weeks, an abortion will occur. Or what we call, this tube will rupture and the baby will get out. Therefore, these people are also prone to getting ectopics. They are prone to getting ectopics. And once you start getting ectopics, of course, you end up infertile. So another factor that can cause infertility after a miscarriage is called Asherman's syndrome. Asherman's syndrome. Asherman's syndrome, this man is very, very dangerous. What we mean by Asherman's syndrome is that the walls of the uterus attach themselves onto each other. You see, when you look at this uterus, it is hollow. By hollow, I mean there is a gap. There is a gap inside. There is space. This is one wall of the uterus. This is another wall. And then inside there is space. And that is the space where, of course, the sperms pass through. It's where, after fertilization, the zygote will grow from. The baby grows from the uterus. Now, in Asherman's syndrome, the wall of the uterus attaches itself onto each other, like this. This wall will come, and this one will come, and therefore you will not be having a uterus, you will be having something like this. Whereby there is no space. There is no space in between the walls of the uterus. Therefore, you will have intercourse with your husband, sperms will not pass through. Why? There is no space. There is no space at all. Where will they pass? Even if they manage to navigate and go this side and probably try to fertilize. Where will the baby implant? There is no space. And therefore, Asherman's syndrome, which is a result of a miscarriage or even some other conditions, by the way, like surgeries and so on, can cause Asherman's syndrome, even evacuations and so on. Actually, Asherman's syndrome usually happens with women who have D and C's. D and C's, these are the miscarriages that are forced. You go to the hospital and you say, you know, I'm not interested in having this baby. I want this baby to be removed. So they usually perform what they call D and C, dilatation and curettage. Now, during dilatation and curettage, the curette is some instrument that is a little bit sharp. There are those that are sharp and those that are not blunt. But at the end of the day, they injure the walls of the uterus because it's what we push in and then you start curating. So they injure the walls of the uterus. Now, by bad chance, if the walls of the uterus are injured and then they attach themselves onto each other, you'll have Asherman's syndrome. And of course, that will result into infertility, except if you have gotten treatment for Asherman's syndrome. What else can cause infertility after a miscarriage is chronic PID, chronic pelvic inflammatory diseases. Chronic PIDs are also another issue here. Usually after a miscarriage, most women get infections. And this happens especially with unsafe miscarriages. Women who do their concoctions from home, women who do things from non-formal medical people, you know, and then they try to cut out abortions and so on. Usually these people get sepsis. Even those that come to hospitals, a small percentage can end up getting infections. Now, when this infection stays for long without getting treated, it will affect the tubes. And once these tubes are affected, you know, my friend, what will happen? Pregnancy will be a very, very big problem for you. So, and there are those that even treat the infections, but they keep on reoccurring, and at the end of the day, they will lead to a miscarriage. Therefore, those factors can cause infertility if a woman had a miscarriage. What you are supposed to do, my friend Petra and other women out there, is to do investigations. Go and carry out investigations to find out why you are not conceiving. I cannot be and tell you the reason as to why you're not conceiving because I've not gotten in touch with you to examine you to do investigations necessary. You need several investigations, x-rays, ultrasound scans, fertility hormonal assays and so on to identify what is exactly affecting you. Are you having blocked tubes? Are you having Asherman's syndrome? Are you having chronic PIDs? What is happening to your uterus? What is happening to you? Why are you not conceiving? Let's have the second question.
Yes, I want to ask a question concerning pregnancy. Does it really matter the size of a penis to get a woman pregnant? Does it really matter? And how?
Does it really matter? Now this question goes back to you, my followers. Does the size of the man's pee matter to make a woman pregnant? Now let's first understand the basics. Let's understand the basics. My answer will be that no. The size of the man's penis doesn't matter to make a woman pregnant. Why? Because as long as whatever the size may be, even if it's like this, as long as this pen is able to release the other substances that make you a man, and then they are released into the woman's V, then the woman will conceive. As long as that is satisfied. Actually, you remember the story I told you about a woman who conceived without meeting the man. What he did, this was a cleaner in one of the hotels. And then when these people entered the room, they did their whatever they did, and then she went and picked the condoms. And then she powered those volumes into her V, and then she conceived. And you've been hearing that case in USA. So it's not about the size. it's all about the viability. As long as your substances, the man's substances, the sperms of the man are viable, as long as they are strong enough, they okay. You remember when I discussed about fertility, sperm analysis and so on. I talked about the characteristics this volume is supposed to have, the characteristic this fluid is supposed to have, the characteristics this sperm is supposed to have in order to impregnate a woman. Actually, I even said that even when a man releases on your thighs and these substances find their way, they negotiate and reach the V. They pass through the V, they reach the cervix and enter the uterus. You will conceive. I have seen women who say that after sexual intercourse, they stand up in order not to get pregnant. It is not, you will conceive, because as long as that substance is able to enter, to pass through the cervix, a woman will conceive. Therefore, it is not all about the size of the man's pee to make a woman pregnant. If it's your very first time to watch this channel, please don't forget to subscribe and also press the notification button in order to get notified of the next videos we upload. Thank you very much for watching Ask Dr. Uthman YouTube channel, a channel where you learn medicine at the comfort of your living room. And I told you, if you'd like to get in touch with me, to have a private chat with me, go to my website www.druthman.com and book an appointment. Thank you very much. We meet.
Ask Dr. Uthman on Sawa Wall.